explosive do not seem to be a priority for destructions. So it was not so surprising when the conflict ended occupied by the end of the weapon destruction process under the assistance of EMM. We call the Aceh Monitoring Mission with EMM. The civilian casualties of the explosive continue to fall to this day. So this situation arises because the explosive have emerged into landmines ready to take casualties at any time in my area, in my district, in Aceh. So I start my screen, right? Where? Oh, sorry, Mr. Budi, my screen is paused.
Yeah, you can continue.
I repeat the share, okay?
Okay, cool.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Can all of you see my presentation?
Yeah. Clear.
Okay, the background, my presentation. The Anti-Personal Mine Ban Convention formed the purpose of realized mine-free world. Indonesia has ratified this convention, the Ottawa Convention, the convention about landmines, and Indonesian ratified this convention with Undang-Undang Number 30, 2006. So Indonesian consequently is too bound to carry out these responsibilities state parties to fulfill our provision on the convention, and most important, to commitment to protect every citizen so as not to become victims. Next, anti-personal mines in armed conflict in Aceh are used by both the government of the Republic of Indonesia and the Free Aceh Movement, or GAM, we call. The indication are that the victims who were dominated by the civilian after the conflict end. And finally, for this reason, the parties are deemed not to comply with the carry out their respective responsibilities as indeed in the convention and principle of international humanitarian law. You can see in substitution MOU number 4.3 state GAM undertake the decommissioning of all arms, ammunition, and explosive held by participant in GAM activities with the assistance of the AMM. So GAM commit to hand over 840 arms. And the implementation, this final to destroy the arms. So what the point in my articles? First, the principle of state responsibility for the comprehensive prohibition of anti-personal mines that Indonesia has adopted in the practice of national law. And second, problem faced Indonesia in effort to carry out the responsibilities of the state for the complete prohibition of anti-personal mine in armed conflict in Aceh. And finally, in third, ASEAN roles and opportunity in promoting sustainable peace in Aceh. Ladies and gentlemen, this I see you describe the picture, the described regional distribution anti-personal mine conflict in Aceh. So Aceh Besar, Birun, Nagan Raya, Lok Semoy, Banda Aceh, the capital city in this province, my burn area included Aceh Utara or North Aceh and East Aceh. This area have a distribute of regional anti-personnel mine. So until here, we have problem with the landmine, or especially ranjau darat we call in my in Aceh here, the popular with ranjau darat. Next, what of type the landmine in Aceh case? So you can see have three type of mine in here. One type of ERW, yeah, explosive remnant of war. These like bombs, a former era colonial imperialism era. Okay, Indonesia, I sure popular with this type of landmine. And then the type of internally explosive device, bombing internal, like not by manufacturer, but the military usually use this type for down this gum in the conflict. And finally, APL, this landmine with this convention, anti-personnel landmine. So AROE, EAD, and APL is same used in this conflict. And now we have a case about that. So the result, ladies and gentlemen, I look at the implementation of the principle of state responsibility is not implementation, still not maximized, and seems low due to the absence of political will from the government, Indonesian government, to resolve the problem that arise as a result of the existence of anti-personnel mines nationality. Based on the rules and customs international humanitarian law, the principle of the state responsibility under the provision of the Ottawa Convention 1997 can be exercised in armed conflict in Aceh. The government of the Republic of Indonesia in particular, as well as the Free Aceh movement as a party to the conflict, is responsible for ensuring that anti-personnel mine issues has the devastating impact to the transition period in Aceh. The problem of ineffective implementation to relate regulation of the commitment of the government of Republic Indonesia and the Free Aceh movement or GAM, which sees the suffering as experienced by the mine victim has not been too significant to be followed up. And my suggestion, because I remember this time, my suggestion to government of Republic of Indonesia should immediately realize the principle of the state responsibility in accordance with the provision of the Ottawa Convention 1997 to avoid the international community condemnation. Second, making Aceh a benchmark of Indonesian success, a state party to the Ottawa Convention 1997. And third, the commitment of the government of the Republic of Indonesia and the Free Aceh movement to maintain peace and support the development agenda in Aceh on an ongoing basis. Finally, the role of ASEAN countries is very strategic to be maximized in order to convince fellow states that Indonesia remains committed to realize a mine-free world. That's my suggestion for the article. I think it is my opinion. It's my reason for this article. I think enough. Thank for your attention, all of you, ladies and gentlemen. I bring back to moderator, Mr. Budi. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Pak Muhammad Haikal. So, excellent presentations. I did enjoy your topics last night when I also read the paper, but I do have several questions and you can use 5 to 10 minutes, right? To have question and answer sessions. So first one I would like to ask, why I choose this topic? I mean, why choose the anti-mines? Because I know that Aceh is obviously has history with GAM and Indonesia government. So why choose this anti-personal landmine threat in Indonesia? And secondly is yeah, I mean, yeah, you can just answer the first one.
Thank you, Mr. Budi. Yeah, like I state in my article, we chose this title about landmine in Aceh because we have any case in here, especially after MOU Helsinki and the peace building since 15 August 2005 in the past. So we have a victim in here, yeah, in Aceh. In 2023, we having the case, especially to find some type of landmines in here, especially like
I have a
E.
follow-up questions. So, there are a lot of victims who, I mean, they're accidentally pressed the landmines in Aceh right now. Ada korban juga, victims, ya, banyak.
Especially in this year, no, but in past, yes. Yeah, we have victim from the mine. Yes, we have. So this after uh, 2005, especially 2010, I
Yep.
remember this case to have a victim for mine, and now just to find the type of mine, just just case is not victim, but this is problem.
Yep.
We have until to jatuhnya korban, so we have not waiting to victim gone, right?
Right. So yeah, following up my questions and your explanations. So I think I have suggestions for you to make your paper
Please.
become more comprehensive if you want to submit it maybe in the Scopus or maybe some Sinta journals, is try to find data after 2004 and 2005 about the victims from the mines. And secondly, you can also try to elaborate the elements of negligence in the concept of common law, and then try to adopt it in Indonesia using the convention itself. Because in the paper, it's actually mentioned that the Indonesia has already ratified the convention, right, about the anti-landmine in Indonesia. So yeah, try to find the element of negligence, and then try to assess it using the 1365 if it's possible, and then determine whether the state is responsible or not, because they actually ratify it, right? And the data of victims will support your claims that this is actually the responsibility of the government of Indonesia, and the government should be liable on this because they does not conduct necessary activities to remove the landmine threat in Aceh. And I think that will be a really good idea to analyze, to sharpen your analysis in here.
More thanks for Mr. Buddy. Your suggestion have I note and record. Thank you, Mr. Woody. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. Yep, no problem. And also, third one is that if you want to state in your research methodology, because I give comments to find data of victims,
Yeah.
you can shift your research methodology into empirical research, because maybe you will have to conduct interview to some people in the rural areas, and then yeah, I think that would be a good idea to make your the reader or the reviewer of the articles in the futures have a more clear understanding about what you want to write in this in the article.
Okay, Mr. Budi, I'm sorry not to include my methodology in my article. So your suggestion I edit in my article. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Pak Haikal. So yeah, do you have questions to me? We still have maybe like 3 minutes.
None, thank you, Mr. Budi is clear.
Thank you, Pak Haikal. So next one, yeah, thank you so much, Pak Haikal. Wonderful presentations. So next one we have, wait a second, paper title, Law and Policy Recognition and Protections of Indigenous People Rights in Indonesia. And presenter is Ibu Surti Handayani and Pak Fahmi Arisandi.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Great to see you and great to meet you. I'm sorry, I'm on behalf of Mr. Fahmi Arisandi, who couldn't join in this morning. So I will share about simple research about our article who submitted.
Okay, just before you start presenting your screen, you have 15 minutes to 10 to 15 minutes to present your PowerPoint. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, everyone can see it?
Me not.
Yeah. Before I present my article, I will share to a little bit story of why we choose this topic, because the situation in indigenous peoples through the Indonesian who still fighting their own territory by the some like the human rights, and also some of the ancestral domain who occupying by the investor or by the industry extractive. So this article will try to telling the story about how the indigenous peoples in Indonesia situation and why they need to be recognized and protection by the government in Indonesia. Otherwise, they also put their identity in our constitutions, like in the article number 18B, and also article 28 8 in the Constitution of Indonesia 1945. So I'm sorry, this so really noise because it's same activity here. I need a 4 minutes. The existence of indigenous peoples in Indonesia was, we know since maybe 100 years ago, but the protection and also recognition until now, they hasn't recognized by the government and still fighting for that. And then the the second, we use the methodology like the research method used in the journal and also literature review or desktop study, and use a normative judicial qualitative approach, etc. And the result and the discuss who are the indigenous peoples in Indonesia. The existence was put on the customary law communities and regulated in the Constitution of Indonesia 1945, an article like I thought before, and how the legal politics of indigenous communities in Indonesia situations, like we try actually I'm from the indigenous peoples community in East Java in Banyuwangi. I'm from Osing community, and the political, I'm also joined as a member of indigenous peoples lawyers, indigenous peoples defenders organizations, who tried to submit some of the like to constitutional court, and we win, but not already win in Indonesia, like MK 35 in 2012, who already stated like state forest, not indigenous people's forest. That's the one of big our winning in the fighting with our legal. And also we try to sue the governments. We try to sue our presidents and also our legislative in 25 October in 2023, and still running in the administration court in Jakarta, because our law, especially for the indigenous people's right law, since 2004 until 2024, we still waiting from the governments to uh, yeah to recognize. And the conclusion is when because our rights or indigenous people's rights not already fulfilled and not already protected from the Indonesian Republic. So that's why we need to take of the legal path taken by not only AMAN or indigenous people's right organizations in Indonesia, also joining with the eight or nine members of indigenous people's community from Banyuwangi, from North Maluku, from Nusa Tenggara Timur, and also from several of the community. And we still waiting the good governments to provide the justice to indigenous peoples, make them to protect their ancestral domain. Yeah, not really much the presentations. Maybe if you have any questions, don't hesitate to say to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bu Surti and Fahmi, who are unable to present these presentations. So for Bu Surti, I have questions for you before I give you suggestions about the paper. So first of all, it's a very interesting topic about indigenous people in Indonesia, because we all recognize we do have indigenous community, but the thing is we do not have a comprehensive indigenous legal instrument to protect their rights, right? And the thing that I would like to ask is, do you reckon to have cases of how many times indigenous community in Indonesia, maybe in your area where you came from, has gained suppressions or let's say discriminations from the government in Indonesia? Do you have some data of it?
Yeah, actually in my community, still strange to fight with the discrimination from the government, not only from the government, but also from the civil society who never know about the Osing community especially. But for moreover to the indigenous people's rights in through of the Asia, through of the Indonesia, they still fight for the rights and also fight for how they can do the, when we do the ritual, that's always said like, this is musrik, or this is you are kafir. But in fact, indigenous peoples do the ritual or do their cultural activity not because they make the god as a second opinion, but they relate how to protect their land, how they protect to their culture, how they protect their life, and also how to say thanks to the universe who give the much of like how they harvesting the rice field, how they're harvesting their plantation, and also how they say thanks to everything because they like protecting the lands. But we try to make some of the audience with the governments to protect our lands. They still like have debate about the definitions for the indigenous peoples in Indonesia. Although the indigenous peoples already recognized in the in the world, they have like UNDRIP, who established in 2007, and also in ILO 169, who recognized their existence. So that's why we still try to strengthen the governments and try to fulfilling their knowledge about the indigenous people's definitions in Indonesia.
Right. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Bu Surti. And comments for your papers. I do have actually a few on it, which are first, for technical stuff about abstracts. I think there are some things need to be revised. The first one is when you try to write an abstract for your papers, the first thing that I'd like to suggest is formulate the first and second sentence, and then the first sentence, try to use a common language, and then in the sentence, try to use common facts to explain the problems. So things that are commons, and we did not to explain it to the audience to make it realize, okay, this is actually a problem. For example, when using your topics, the first line I would like to write is indigenous people in Indonesia has a lot of indigenous communities. First one. Second one is in Indonesia, apparently there are a lot of problems related with the indigenous communities and the development of Indonesia, right? Because it has become constant problems. The PSN, the project Strategi Nasional, or the national program of government in Indonesia, they involve a lot of or have frictions with indigenous communities because they want to build A, B, C, D, and it does not compensate the indigenous, and they does not respect the indigenous people in Indonesia. And that's the first one. And the second one is try to focus on the questions posed by the author itself, because in here, in your paper, I see that in your discussions, you actually does not clearly answering the questions, which is the first one is, no, the first one, the second one, how legal instrument and human rights. In here, in the in page number 4, if I can just share screen, wait a second. Right in here, as you guys can see, you actually just write about the regulations. You do not elaborate of the content of the articles or regulations, then try to contextualize it with the relevant problems. So I think it would be better to contextualize it and try to use or formulate your own wordings to to help answering the first questions. And another thing is that I think it would be easier for to use bullet points to when you try to mention several laws in here, or you can also try to put it in footnotes about the regulations in here to make it easier for us to understand, or make it summary about regulations. But overall, the paper are very easy to understand. I do get and grasp the essence of the topics of your paper, which is very interesting. But yeah, I think that's for me. Do you have any follow-up questions, maybe, Bu Surti?
No, thank you for the comment, and I will be revised for everything that you are mentioned. And I think that's good questions and that's good comment, and no question for Mr. Budi overall.
Right. Thank you, Bu Sufi. So next one we'll have Bapak Ishak Bunyamin Manubulu with paper titled "The Using the Anthony Mato Philosophy as an Investment Strategy on Timor Islands." So yeah, does Pak Ishak in here already? Ishak, yeah, it's in here. Okay. So yeah, Pak Ishak, you have 15 minutes to present your paper. Time start once you start speaking.
Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yep.
Because I think we'll meet some internet problem. So I live in East Indonesia. The weather is not good in a few days, so probably the connection will meet the problem with the internet connection. Yeah. So, can anyone see my presentation?
Yep. It's all good.
I made some trouble when I show this presentation. Anyone help me to show my presentation, sir?
Do you what?
Can you share the presentation that I already upload in Google Drive? There is a problem
You
with
can
my
send it the
computer.
presentations towards the chat box, and I'll help you presenting the Google.
Okay.
That's yeah. Have you uploaded the presentations towards the chat box?
Yes, sir.
We'll wait for minutes then.
It's already sent, sir.
Right. Yeah, you can start your presentation right now while I will still downloading and then try to share the screen for your PowerPoint.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, sir or ma'am, for your time. My name is Isaac. I am the lecturer from Cendanawangi College of Law. Well, in this moment, the first international conference on law policy and politics investment and humanity, curbing new threats and policy. I'd like to present you about the presentation with the title using the Atoni method philosophy. Okay, Atoni method philosophy as an investment strategy on Timor Island. Well, I'd like to introduce you about Cendanawangi College of Law. It is the law school exists in North Central Timor Regency of East Nusa Tenggara province. We will start to, I believe we start from the first presentation. So. Okay, what is Atoni method philosophy? When I was studying in Bali, in Udayana University, I saw similarity between the Atoni method philosophy with the Trihitakarana. Trihitakarana is the point where, well, it shows the balance about Parayangan, Pawongan, and Palemahan, the relation about human and God, human and the environment, and also human and his social life. So when I try to introduce you about Atoni method philosophy as a strategy, I'd like you guys to know about the new approach to increase the profit of investment in East Nusa Tenggara. Well, we are going to the next slide. First of all, we have to know about East Nusa Tenggara province. I give the red color for this East Nusa Tenggara area. The source from Wikipedia. There's a few facts about East Nusa Tenggara. It was legalized in 1958. It's range about more than 48,000 kilometers, represent of included 21 regency and one capital city called Kupang. Victor Laiskodat as a governor of East Nusa Tenggara province, and well, it is the fact that East Nusa Tenggara is an archipelago province consisting more than 100 islands, included 6 major islands, which is Flores, Sumba, Timor, Alor, and Lembata. In East Nusa Tenggara, we know an acronym which is called Flobamora. It is the acronym of 6 major islands. And beside it is highlight the cultural heritage, the 6 big tribes in East Nusa Tenggara province. After that, we are going to the next slide about what is North Central Timor Regency. North Central Timor Regency. Okay, North Central Timor Regency. Here we go. When I was in elementary school, my teacher always tell me, if you want to draw North Central Timor, you can easily imagine about how chickens live. So based on what we are seeing, we know North Central Timor, it's quite look like a chicken. There is a few facts about North Central Timor. First, North Central Timor Regency, led by Regent Juandi David and his deputy, Eusebius bin Sasi, where Kefaumananu is the capital city of North Central Timor. Its range wide more than 200 kilometers, while Kefaumananu represents 2.7 area, about 24 kilometers. Total population, you can see from my presentation, where 18.59 or about people live in Kefaumananu. Kefaumananu as a capital city of North Central Timor. Next slide is about what is the potential investment in North Central Timor. We know tourism destination, but here we don't talk about the tourism destination. We are talking about new approach. How can we increase the profit of investment in North Central Timor? Well, we know that COVID-19 brings a lot of impact for Indonesia people, Indonesia citizen, include North Central Timor. Our economic is a very, we having the situation, well, we can say the depreciation of economy. So investment could be one point that can be increased the economy of people. In the 6 slides, sir, can you help me to move 6 slides? There's a fact about Atunimeto. Well, Atunimeto is a philosophy deeply ingrained in the way life of people residing in Timor Island. The philosophy represents the spirit of living together, harmony. Atunimeto represents the work of ethic Timorness, driven by their desire to improve their quality of life and make it profitable for investors. There is a words now in Atunimeto, Moe Onle Onle It is the philosophy is perfect reflection of people Timor. It is described about work ethic in North Central Timor. Okay, next slide. In next slide, I was trying to explain you about the philosophy. This philosophy implies okay, so we get to the conclusion. The conclusion of using this Atunimeto, I believe when we are using another approach, we show that we respect people, indigenous people. It can increase the acceptability of the investor and also the profit from investor, and that's what all investor need from investment. So thank you for sir for
Right. Yeah, Pak Iksan Benjamin. So I have questions for you, just to help you support and in your writings. I can see that in your writings, especially in the abstract, philosophy, Antonio is a philosophy, but it plays an important role. It's actually a good idea to write this as a beginning. But let me just screen for to make it easier for others to understand. Right, this one. The first sentence is actually really good, but you lack the second sentence because to give a common sense of facts that does not need to be explained or researched, but to give us the moment of snap. Oh, okay, this is actually correct. This is actually a potential topics to discuss and in a paper. But the thing that I would like to ask about your study on Antoine-Meto our first one is, wait, let me just stop sharing screen for a moment. Is, wait. Do you have any data about the Antoine method itself? I mean, is there, because I haven't got um the the points for people to understand why um this philosophy actually become a potential investment strategy. Is there any um data or maybe some uniqueness points from this philosophy? Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Uh, Truly, I don't have any data, but there is a few experience that motive inspire me to use Autoinvento as the way to increase the profit for investment. Well, based on our experience, East Nusa Tenggara, especially North Central Timor, quite high case. There is a lot of case of human trafficking.
Hmm?
Most of the case are using the approach, the autonomy approach. They come to every person. They put seriously in it, but just show like they respect the people. They respect the people, and then the people will accept them. I mean, like we are showing. Well, how can I say? We respect the indigenous people, and the indigenous people will respect us. They will cooperate with everything that we've done, even if it for human trafficking. So I believe when we are trying to use autonomous philosophy in a good way, it will increase the investor profit, the acceptability on investor. I mean,
Okay, substantial wise, I cannot give you comments because this is the first time for me to hear the Antoine Mito, and I need to have a deeper understanding because I can give you comment on this. But the thing that I can give you comments on our writing is that first of all, and your English is quite good. It's really good in writing the article, which is you can use it to bargain your positions, and if you want to submit it for international journal. Um, Another thing is that data, yeah. If you can have some data of the Antoine Mato practical philosophy for investment that has already been used to boost the investment into more islands, this paper could become really give significant development or contributions towards philosophy of investment in Indonesia. And yeah, and reference structures, you do write reference in below, which is quite not quite really excellent in here. Yeah, do you have any questions for me, Pak Isa?
no,
Nope.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Then we can move to the next presenter, Ibu Yuni Indah Supriyanti. Ibu Yuni Indah, Universitas 100 Samban Bengkulu. Apparently this is not here yet. Perhaps we can move first to the fifth presenter, Pak Umar Dinata. Oh, Bu Yuni Indah is here. Okay. Right, so Ibu Yuni, time will start 15 minutes once you start speaking. So yeah, go ahead. Do you have problems with the audio, Ibu Yuni? Because we can't hear you. We still can't hear you. Do you want to move to your other devices? Can you give me a response in chat box? Does anyone else can hear Bu Yuni?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you right now, but
Mr. Budi, is it clear?
yes, but your voice is echoing or menggema. You can move to your other devices or mute your other devices. Now I can't hear you. Please mute your first device and then try to speak with your second device if you want. No, still can't hear you.
Halo? Halo? Yes.
Suara echoing, jadi mungkin speaker yang di laptop dimatikan dulu. Biar tidak
Okay. Okay, the background of my resort is North Bengkulu have village one enterprise. We call it BUMDES. We have 150 BUMDES, but not all BUMDES is active. There's only 87 BUMDES are active. Kemang Agung BUMDES is established in 2017 based on memorandum association in the state. The initial capital for established came from Sumber-Agung APBD, for the 2070 fiscal year. The total initial capital was 200 million rupiah. It is used to open business units include saving and loan for the village community, and second one, total 40 million. And then 2 units, ATK and photocopy and conventional business. And then the next, finding livestock. Okay, on the May 20, 2020, Sumber-Agung village was declared a red zone based on data from Provinsi COVID handling task force. There were 11 people positive for COVID and the number of cases continued to rise. This greatly impacted to BUMDes units with the designation of the Sumberagong village as a red zone. The village owned enterprise Tabor business is not good running. Village owned enterprise management is very important matter in develop. The Gemaagung BUMDes continue to improve the management of the business unit.
Apparently, what all of your devices are muted. Can you please just unmute one device? Here you. Maaf Bu, tidak bisa terdengar sama sekali suaranya sekarang. Ini maaf, karena suaranya tidak terdengar sama sekali, Bu. Terus terang, dan tadi juga echoing, mungkin ada masalah sinyal atau masalah teknis dari device Ibu. Jadi, mungkin saya bisa langsung, iya, terdengar, Bu. Echoing, jadi menggema. Jadi mungkin ada device Ibu satunya itu menyala speakernya hingga kepantul. Jadi,
Oke, saya coba matikan kamera.
bukan masalah kameranya, Ibu. Speaker Ibu di device satunya itu nyala juga, jadi menggema.
Sudah saya matikan satu mikrofon. Saya coba keluar ini satu. Halo? Ini saya. Oke, result. indicate a significant influence between village owned and enterprise management on community welfare. The value of XY is 0.83 by it means that the correlation between the two variables is strong level. So tests showed that the hypothesis was accepted, and the coefficient of determinant is 69.5%. The benefit of the result is the result of policy recommendation to improve BUMDES post-pandemic COVID-19. The BUMDES must do good management to develop BUMDES. The magnitude of the influence of BUMDES management on the level of community welfare in Sumeragung Village, Padang Jaya, North Bengkulu Regency can be seen from the correlation coefficient of exception of 69.5%. Okay. The existence of BUMDES is very important to improve the welfare of village community. Cooperation for various parties is needed. In this case, Ratu Sambang University, so to produce of human resources to be able to make breakouts in innovation, so that BUMDES continue to exist. Through the research and service program, the lecture can make change so that the benefit of BUMDES continue to value by the village community. I think enough. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much for the great opportunity. Hello?
Yeah. Thank you, Bu Yuni, for your presentation. Assessing the impacts of its management on community welfare using statistics and situations. But things I would like, I can only give you one comments or suggestion maybe. After COVID, the government has a lot of regulations to help welfare. I think
suggestion for my research.
Yep, it will be better if you can try to incorporate one or two regulations from central governments and try to assess it using your data and your equations to assess whether the regulations actually in line with the objective or not. Because in your paper, you did already a good job or great job in analyzing data of on the field using product moment correlation product and some calculations on it to analyze the welfare and correlation which has you reach the coefficient of 0.88. And yeah, I think that's the only suggestions for me to make your paper become more perfect.
Okay, from my research result, I have recommendation. The local government must do revitalization for the BUMDES year. The local government has give support funding for the revitalization, so the BUMDES can be lived and run in normally. It's a recommendation from my research, Mister.
I can't what do you want to
What happened here?
Perhaps you can ask the questions via chat box to avoid echoing or unclear in delivering your message through voice. So because our time is limited, Bu Yuni, can you please write your questions or response to the chat box column so I can answer to you direct as well. And while waiting for that, we can move to the next candidate, Pak Umar Dinata here, the fifth presenter with title Child Criminal Responsibility in Indonesian Criminal Law using the can ensuring legal protection of children. So ya Pak Umar Dinata. Yep. Where is Pak Umar Dinata? Suddenly leave, maybe because the connections. In here I can see as well already Pak Rusdi Sastran. Pak Rusdi, are you ready? Because Pak Umar apparently has connection issues, so we can move to your session first.
Yes, sir. Ready, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. 15 minutes. Start once you're speaking.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. Dear respected ladies and gentlemen present in Icon Lab University's Muhammadiyah Bengkulu International Conference on Law, Policy, and Politics. I'm Rusdi Sastrawan from University of Jambi. Stay in Loksmawe. I'm Bengkulu person, sir. I'm proud that Muhammadiyah University now largest private university. Okay, I apologize that while working I also have to study, and the presentation will, of course, not be perfect of the others. Directly, my presentation, the title, The Importance of Realizing Fair, Useful, and Definite Resolution of Criminal Case based on the principle of deliberation and consensus. Introduction, we know that KUHP and KUHP as the formal criminal in law and material criminal law in Indonesia from the continental European legal system. KUHP is criminal procedure law. We call formal criminal law to different it from real criminal law. We know that the formal criminal law, KUHP, that is currently in effect is no longer relevant when compared to the new material law, KUHP, because it accommodates laws that are growing and developing in society, namely, number 1, Article 2, Paragraph 1, the provision as referred to in Article 1 don't reduce the validity of law, citing in society with determined that a person deserves to be punished even though the act is not regulated in this law. Number 2, Article 2, Paragraph 2, the law that live in society as intended in Paragraph 1. Apply in the place where the law live, and as long as they are not a regulation in this law and are in accordance with the value content in Pancasila, the State's Constitutional Republic of Indonesia in 1945, human rights and general legal principle recognized by the people nation. And research method in my research, normative judicial research method. And then discussion for my presentation. Discussion number 1, the regulation in force in Indonesia are based on the principle of deliberation and consensus in the criminal justice system. The principle of deliberation and consensus is not something new in Indonesia, in criminal justice in Indonesia. Can be seen at various regulations regulated from the order until now, namely, number 1, Emergency Law of the Republic of Indonesia, number 1 of 1951. Number 2, arrangement for case resolution are based on the principle of deliberation and consensus in the first scenario settlement in law number 11 of 2012 concerning the juvenile criminal justice system. And number 3, Republic of Indonesia State Police Regulation number 8 of 2021 concerning handling of criminal acts based on restorative justice. Number 4, General Regulation number 15 of 2020 concerning termination of prosecution based on restorative justice, which explain the procedure for implementing case resolution based on restorative justice. And number 3.2, the urgency of implementing the principle of deliberation and consensus in criminal procedure law to realize justice, usefulness, and legal certainty. That fully contained in the core principle in the Pancasila, points are relevant to be applied in resolving criminal case, namely, number 1, as citizen and member of society, every Indonesian has the same position, rights, and obligation. Number 2, you cannot force your will on other people. Number 3, prioritize deliberation in making decisions for the common good. Number 4, deliberation to reach consensus or meet with a family spirit. Number 5, respect and uphold every decision reached as a result of deliberation. Number 6, with good faith and sense of responsibility, accept and implement the result of deliberation decision. Number 7, in deliberation, collective interests are prioritized above personal and group interests. Number 8, deliberation are carried out with common sense and accordance with a noble consensus. And number 9, decision take must be morally accountable to God Almighty, uphold human honor and dignity, the place of trust and justice, prioritizing a unity and solidarity for the common good. Number 10, give trust to trusted representatives to carry out deliberation. The conclusion, number 1, existing regulation that apply to the principle of deliberation and consensus in their implementation are emergency law of the Republic of Indonesia, number 1 of 1951 concerning temporary measure to implement to the unity structure of power and procedure of civil court, law number 11 of 2012 concerning the juvenile criminal justice system, Republic of Indonesia National Police Regulation number 8 of 2021 concerning handle of criminal act based on restorative justice, and Attorney General Regulation number 15 of 2020 concerning termination of prosecution based on restorative justice. And number 2, the upcoming new criminal procedure code, new criminal procedure code, as an important part of the criminal justice system should incorporate the principle of deliberation and consensus in the process of resolving criminal case, either through means of resolving case through customary law, or the mediation model at the investigation and prosecution stage by investigators and prosecutors. In general, this is important because it is accordance with Pancasila value, the sociological condition of Indonesian society, and to harmonize formal KUHP and material KUHP laws which have been ratified based on Law Number 1 of 2023. Thank you, sir, and thank you everyone for present in this conference and hear my presentation. I hope my paper can provide positive feedback for government. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Rusdi. Wonderful presentations. But the thing that I want to give you comments is, first one is the most crucial one, which is writing your reference, because in your paper that has been given to me, you did write the footnotes, which is really good, but at the end of your paper, you just not put reference in chronological order, and this could hampering your paper because you already have a good paper already in here. And the second one is when you try to contextualize it. Oh no, before we move to that, your abstract is already really good as well. But the thing is, when you try to contextualize and engage in discussions, you need to have a clear conjunction and clear structures, and those not only happens in your paper, but mostly in for Indonesian author, they have problems in writing conjunctions and content structures, and it is something that you can sharpen by keep writing, because I know in Kejaksaan there is requirements, right, to write paper, if I'm not mistaken, to increase your let's say the positions, if I'm not mistaken. So it will be better if you keep writing papers in the future as well, and to sharpen your understanding and skills in writing conjunction in papers. What I mean by conjunction is when you write paper, you should create a skeleton first, and a skeleton, and how to bridge the first skeleton into the second skeleton and third skeletons. And that is the most important one in writing paper, actually, instead of idea and topics. Do you get what I mean, Pak Rusdi? Or do you have any questions?
Yes. Thank you for your suggestion, sir. I will revision my paper to get better.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pak Rusdi. So next one, we'll have the next speaker, which is Pak Fazrin Hardinandar, Muhammad Rizkan Amanda, and Muhammad Alvin Faiz, with title How Investment Contributes to Poverty Debt in Indonesia, and Interregional Input-Output and Sigma-Beta Convergence Mixed Approach. So yeah, Pak Fazrin, please, time is yours. 15 minutes starts once you start speaking.
Thank you, Mr. Budi, and thank you everyone in this room. To present the paper title How Investment Contributes to Poverty Debt in Indonesia, and Interregional Input-Output and Sigma-Beta Convergence Mixed Approach. Our team consists myself, my name, and two students, and Amanda and Alvin Faiz. With your permission, I want to give my student to explain just a little bit background our paper. Can I, Mr. Budi?
Please, please.
And after that, I will continue to present. Okay, Amanda, please go ahead. Can you tune on your voice, Amanda?
Yes. Can you hear me, my voice?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the opportunity given to me. First of all, poverty in a country often arises due to the uneveness in economic development. Investment should be the primary driver of job creation, creating a domino effect that affects various economic sectors and overall social welfare. In developing countries like Indonesia, investment often focuses more physical development such as roads, ports, airports, and factories and housing. However, an imbalanced attention between physical and non-physical investment can result in inequality as physical investment tends to be more oriented toward capital-intensive sectors. We can see in the slide the realization of investment from both domestic investment and foreign investment showed from January to September 2022 reached a staggering amount of 892.4 trillion Indonesian rupiah. This figure represents a significant increase of 35.3% compared to the same period in the previous year, reflecting strong growth. Meanwhile, we can see from this slide that investment is still concentrated in the majority of provinces in Java Island. On the other hand, if we look at the Gini ratio, it actually increases in urban areas and experiences its decline in rural areas. Next slide, sir. Okay. In summary, the ISO address is in this research is that investment is still concentrated in Java Island. So we would like to examine how sectoral investment impact the economy, and we want to assess the extent to which these impacts contribute to efforts to reduce income debt poverty in Indonesia. Lastly, we would like to project when regional conference can be achieved based on the required investment values from previous. I'll hand it back to Mr. Fajrin to continue the presentation. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Amanda. You can turn off your voice. Okay. I will proceed to the methodology sections. Our research involved using an interregional input-output table in years 2016 that encompassed 34 provinces in Indonesia and include 52 sectors. As a result, we worked with metrics that had dimension of 1,768 by 1,768, and to understand the impact of the final changes, we use a shock method by considering both domestic and foreign investment in year 2022, and the source data we take by the Ministry Investment and Financial Ministry. And then to measure convergence and its speeds, we employed the sigma and beta convergence analysis tools with the assistance of least square estimation in the econometric. So next, okay, the first equation on the slide shows the influence of income inequality among the poor in the previous period on income inequality among the poor in the current period. The hypothesis is that if the significance is value of this variable is significant and negative, convergence occurs. And conversely, if the significance is value of this variable is significant and positive, convergence does not occur. We also employed the Java Sumatra represent region outside Java and Sumatra. And then the second equation, like this slide, is a less score equation that demonstrated how changes in output demand caused by investment affect the reduction of income inequality among the poor, divided into two categories, Java, Sumatra. And the final equation on this slide help to us explain the speed of adjustment for changes in poverty caused by investment. Okay, guys. Next, like to discuss at the before slide, the basic model of this study use the least square or the ordinary least square. But in the estimation, we found the residual of the model are not symmetrically distributed around the mean. As a result, we cannot use the ordinary least square model. So we need to use an analysis method that can handle data abnormality issues, which is general linear model. So, but I think I don't think we need to go into too much detail about what in this statistical table. So I'm going to next. Okay. The result of this case, the estimation result using the general linear model dummy least square sigma convergence model indicate a positive value for the variable p minus 1, like on the left in this slide, which suggests the presence of divergence. The result of the Fourier supported by the negative value of dummy variable and the indicating regional inequality. Okay? And then in the main general linear model least square, it is observed that investment has a positive impact on poverty. But this positive effect is more pronounced in the Java Sumatra region. And the beta convergence analysis help us to determine the speed of adjustment from this regression outcome. On the right side on this table, the beta convergence value for the investment variable is 17.32, indicating that investment can reduce 50% of income inequality among the poor within 17 years. So a long time to reduce poverty. Meanwhile, the coefficient value of the dummy variable 0.0616 indicated that regions outside Java, Sumatra are 6 times more unequal compared to Java and Sumatra region. So there are 3 conclusions from our paper. The first one, empirical evidence shows that investment has a significant impact on poverty in Indonesia. And the second one, there is a phenomena of regional divergence where Java and Sumatra have lower poverty rates compared to regions outside Java and Sumatra by a factor of 6.6. And the last, investment have the potential to reduce income inequality among the poor by 50% in approximately 60 years. So I think I'll talk investment impact to poverty, but we we need to a long time, around 70 years. And we over policy implication, the several policy implication. The second one, encourage sustainable and inclusive investment. And the second one, improve regional infrastructure, particularly in areas outside Java and Sumatra, of course. And third, support high potential economic sector, such as modern agriculture, tourism, and resort-based manufacturing industries. And four, strengthen access to resources and education for the poor, especially outside Java and Sumatra regions. And the last, adopt holistic and sustainable policies that address investment, infrastructure, economic sector expansion, and social inclusion to reduce income inequality and improve the well-being of the poor in Indonesia. Thank you, Mr. Budi. I think enough to my presentation. I bring back to Mr. Budi.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Pak Fajri, for your presentations and the results. Very interesting. I have questions. How long it takes for you guys to write and analyze using data?
Okay. Okay. We obtained the input-output table and poverty depth index from the General Statistical Agency, BPS, while the investment data was obtained from the Ministry of Investment. All of these data sources are available online and free of charge. In terms of data processing, our approach involved conducting an analysis of final demand using the input-output table with the investment value used as a shock. Once we obtained the final demand values, we performed two regression analyses. The first regression aimed to determine convergence, while the second regression aimed to examine the impact of investment and region on poverty in Indonesia. We apologize for not being able to provide detailed explanation here, as it will be easy to demonstrate the process directly, Mr. Budi.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Pak Fajri. Well, your paper are really interesting and I would say excellent because you use statistical data and then try to analyze it and the impact of poverty and try to correlate investment. But what I would like to suggest is if you could add 1 or 2 paragraphs using the impact or mentioning the history of creation of UJK, the Job Creation Act. And then if you can break it down per province in the future, not right now, in the future for your paper, then your article, I believe, will become very beneficial. I mean, you guys are trying to assess the impact of UJK, the job creations, into and try to correlate with the poverty level. And then we can use it if your paper has finished in the future as the basis to, let's say, if there is one day a judicial review or a lawsuits concerning the UJK, because as you guys know that UJK has become a constant problem, right? For not only for the capital, but for the regional areas in Indonesia. But yeah, I would appreciate this paper. Excellent. But one thing, you guys does not mention any reference in your paper. And I found it's totally fine because sometimes some authors, especially from scientific or statistical background, forgot to write it, which is understandable, and you guys can actually put it later on. It's very easy. So yeah, that's all from me. Do you have any response or comments, questions, Pak Fajri?
Yeah, I think enough, Mr. Budi. Thank you for your comment and your insight. Thank you very much, Mr. Budi.
Yep. So next one we have Pak Arianto Nugroho. Pak Arianto Nugroho on social justice transformations, implication of job creation law on worker social security in Surabaya. So yeah, Pak Arianto, 15 minutes once you start speaking, and yeah.
Thank you, Pak Budi. Is it audible? My voice is audible?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Arianto Nugroho. Along with me, there are Pak Irfan Aboid and Ibu Emilia Rustiana. I will represent my group to present our article entitled Transformation Towards Social Justice, Implications of the Job Creation Law for Worker Social Security in Surabaya. We are from Universitas Negeri Surabaya, located in Surabaya, Indonesia. And I will start my presentation from the labor law in Indonesia, which has undergone significant changes in recent years. And as we all know that during the old and new era, the government had a very strong control over the labor system. And we also know that since 2020, since 2003, the labor law or manpower law has been the basis for labor implementation in Indonesia. But as the time changes, the labor issues have been significantly affected by the global economic system. It plays a key role in shaping the direction of labor law policy. According to Tamara Lotian, there are two types of labor law, the corporatist type and the contractualist type. So corporatist means the people has to put the regulation into legislation steps. They need to form the law by conducting some legislative steps, and then they will produce a kind of act or law and will be implemented to the public. While contractualist means it's up to the parties. In here, there are employees and an employer. There are factories and people who work in that factories. It's up to them to make a kind of contract, and then it will be the basis of their industrial relationship. The implementation of the reform is an urgent necessity involving all the stakeholders. So the stressing here is that it has to be a lot of people, which is called stakeholders, who are affected by that implementation, that needs to be included in shaping or in making the laws in Indonesia. We also have known that we implemented the omnibus law. Well, actually, it's not the first time in Indonesia, but law number 11 year 2020 probably is well known because of Indonesian people know what omnibus law is. So the job creation law, and there is a numbers of changes in Indonesia's labor law, labor cluster, including modification to minimum wages, wage regulations, revisions to the severance pay provisions, and the implementation of more flexible employment contracts. This has been judicial reviewed in 2020, and there is a Constitutional Court number 91 year 2020, which gives the order that the job creation law is still in effect, but the government to make some improvement during 2 years. But up to 2020, at the end of 2022, then our government stipulated regulation governments in lieu of law number 6,000 year 2022 23 sorry 22, and this abolished the job creation law, but we will still have to look back for that law, because it's very important to see in deep what actually happened at that time. This is what, because actually the intention is to increase labor market flexibility and to create new jobs, but they have another potential negative consequences on our worker rights and job security. So we have here in our finding, sorry, the transformation of social justice in the framework of job creation laws. According to John Rawls, the essence of justice is the main value present in the social institution. In the context of job creation law, the importance of justice is in the basic structure of society is the main perspective that should be applied to labor policies. So we all know that the making of that job creation law in 2020 was so fast. I was one of the members to be invited, but I was invited to give the suggestion and then also revision in 2000 February. I remember I was in Bogor in 2020, and then at the end of the year, probably around September or November, the law is already there, exists in Indonesia. In terms of strengthening domestic economic fundamentals, there is also should be fairness in the distribution of employment and workers' welfare. And this raises issues of justice and social opposition. Let me tell you some examples. In Article 88D of the Job Creation Law, it states that the minimum wages consists of 3 indicators, namely economic growth, and then how special indicators, and then also the inflation of the Indonesian inflation. So the special indicators probably has the unclear thing for several parties, especially from the workers' point of view, because it could be something which is not to necessarily change how the minimum wages are made, but then suddenly, if the government thinks that this is needed to be, it needs to be changed, then it is easily can be changed. And furthermore, in Article 88F, the government has the right, in certain circumstances, the government has the right to change how the formulation of the minimum wages. So some of that, there are some of the example in the why the job creation law, according to the transformation of social justice point of view, has some negative consequences. The next one, the next step is that how this job creation law is implemented to the workers especially, and we try to view and we try to describe how the workers give the response to what this job creation law. There are 3 things that we try to measure in namely health insurance, pensions, and work accident insurance. There are 102 respondents who are workers working in Surabaya, and according to them, we conducted this survey using email, and then they responded, and from their responses concerning health insurance, 35 30.29 agreed that the job creation law makes it easier to get the health insurance, but 30.39% disagreed completely, while the other 27.45 disagreed with no. It means that more than half, which is 57%, either disagreed or felt that they had not seen any significant changes. The second finding is that about the pensions. It was so surprising because the survey showed that the significant negative sentiments is higher than the positive. Only 25% of the respondents agreed that the job creation law makes it easier for them to obtain pension funds, while the majority, which is 74.51, felt the opposite. And the last one is about work accident insurance. 32.35% agreed that the job creation law makes it easier for them to obtain this insurance, while the majority, which is 67.65, reflects that they still have difficulties in obtaining that type of insurance. The conclusion is that the impact of the regulatory changes on the right of social security for workers is not yet significant. And then the evaluation result of this transformation have not contributed to social justice, especially for workers in Surabaya, because it only seen from the aspect of economic benefits. We need to look further into social welfare to the workers. So that's the conclusion, and that's all my presentation. And thank you. Feel free to have a suggestion to our article. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Arinto. May I know, do you intend to submit this article for a journal or?
Yes, would like to send it to a journal. If it is possible, then to Scopus Index or Sinta.
Yeah, I mean, your article quite interesting, and your English in here already really good. Well, I can suggest you a journal if you want. Try the Kasetsart. Let me just type it for you.
All right.
Start to social science. When your article seems ready for international publications for me, and try to submit to this journal if you want. And yeah, it's in Scopus. And about substance, I do not have any significant comments because you guys seems quite understand already what you want to write in here, and the systematical approach and conjunctions are linear. I don't really have any good suggestions for you inside from if you want to submit it to your to a journal. And also, if you want to develop this topic of paper, I suggest if you want to focus and then try to incorporate the AI, the artificial intelligence issue towards the labor issue in Indonesia, or maybe in Surabaya about recruitment process, this could be a good development. I mean, because last year in New York, United States, firms tends to use AI right now for recruiting. But right now, since it's already industrial technology has reached the point zero, right? AI must be used, and how does people or potential employee are going to be acted in Indonesia? This could be another topic, right? Perhaps you can use Surabaya as the basis for your modeling first, and maybe move to Jakarta, or maybe move to the whole Indonesia, or Southeast Asia. Yeah, I think I don't have any good suggestions for you because you guys already did a good job.
Thank you so much, Pak Budi.
Our comments, our response. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Do you have any response, Pak Arinto, or do you want to have discussions, or?
I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for having us in your session.
Yeah. Thank you. So next one we will have Pak Ahmadi and Pak Muhammad Wahdini with title Public Participations in the Development of Legal Culture in Indonesia, a study of recognition of customary law communities. So yeah, please Pak Ahmadi and Pak Muhammad Wahdini, if you guys ready, 15 minutes starts once you start speaking. You can also share your screens if you have PowerPoint presentations, and I'll give you comments and inputs about your papers.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. Muhammad Wahdini will represent Dr. Ahmadi in this presentation. We are from the Muhammadiyah University of Palangkaraya. We will presentation the title Public Participation and the Development of Legal Culture in Indonesia, a study of recognition of customary law communities. Introduction, democracy as the main component and the version the law is present of adequate legislation, not only the procedure and the technical drafting of which are democratic, but also the material substance is adequate quality and can be used reference and good for the nation without conflicting with the public expression. In the context of the creation of legislative regulation, the legislative function is the most basic function of the legislative institution. The DPR of the Republic of Indonesia, with the expression of the people, implement and the law as people representation. The problems, principle of one is the explanation of Article 5, letter law number 12. An example of legislative practice considered ignoring public participation at the formation of the draft law of the Second Amendment law, the reversion of the Corruption Eradication Commission or KPK. The ratification of law number 11 of as the author of an organization of the importance of public participation of the legal culture in Indonesia. Method in the paper, the research use of a normative legal research method, normative judicial research focus on studying and researching public participation and the formation of legislation. Normative research is a scientific research is a method we use. Public participation and the legislative process are the public or community has the right to profit and verbally and or writing the formation and legislative regulation. Oral and or writing input is in paragraph 1 can be done through first public hearings, work visit, socialization, and or seminar, workshop, and discussion. The public is referred to in paragraph 1 is an individual or group of people who have interest in the substance of the draft legislative regulation. To help the public to receive proper oral and or writing input as entered into paragraph 1, every draft legislation must be easily accessible in the public. legal culture, several things need to be considered. They measure the legal culture of society. First, legal culture is not limited to how society views the law and its function, but also how the lawmaker and the legislative body are in considering the interest of the good of society, which must be the main goal of law formation. The explanation is follow. Number one, community legal complaint. Number two, community legal morals. Number three, community legal orders. As the paper, the process of forming a draft law and customary law communities based on community participation by the picture proposal of customary communities. The participation next sociological consideration, judicial and philosophical build all customary law communities. Conclusion, public participation is the most important part of structuring legislation because it has several objectives such as preventing labor from abuse of power, preventing the association of the community or citizen to the government, involving citizen and making public decision of heading people and enable the people to obtain their right and obligation of good governance. Thank you. I going back to Mr. Budi.
Right. Yeah, thank you, Pak Muhammad Wahdini. So quick suggestions or not questions, but suggestions to your articles. In here, I can see that you guys are trying to discuss and then try to contextualize it, the context of constitutional law and customary law or indigenous law or adat law, we could say that. But in here, what you guys are lack of is, I would say, the bridge between this constitution and the indigenous matters. And what I would like to suggest is to incorporate cases law from all over Indonesia that has relevancies with the indigenous community and constitutional matters. We can actually found that a lot, for example, the case of Wadas, or any cases that has relevancies with the PSN, the Proyek Strategi Nasional or National Strategic Project. Try to put 3 or 4 cases and then try to make a table, landscape table, discuss about how actually the public participations in each of these cases are not incorporated in Indonesia. And this could help your arguments in stating that, public participation in Indonesia are not given, even though the legislation or the regulations has provided or enabled it, but in the context, in the factualizations, it's not really implemented. And yeah, I think that's the most important thing for for my suggestions for you. And in here also, footnotes are already well written, really good. But yeah, I found some inconsistency in types of font, especially in point D, recognition of customary communities with the above one. The footnotes some ways quite different and space. And yeah, I think if you want to submit into, let's say, international journal or national journal, SINTA, you need to at least to incorporate cases and then try to adopt as well international theory about public participations if you want or if you can, to make it the foreigners understand, this is actually happened in international context, this is what happened in national context, this is the reality what happens in Indonesia right now, which is there is no meaningful public participations. yeah, in Indonesia. Do you have any response, Pak Wahdini? Or
Thank you for your comment and suggestion. We will add case studies and other information share. I will hand you up. Thank you, sir. Yes.
okay, thank you again, Pak Wahdini. So last but not least, our presenter, Pak Randi Valentino Leon with title District Attorney in North Central Timur, performed the handling and law enforcement on misuse of village in the North Central Timur. Yeah. So, Pak Randi, do you have any PowerPoint you want to share? If you have PowerPoint and want to do presentation using your PowerPoint, please share your screens, and 15 minutes will start once you start speaking. You can see here Pak Randi is present. Do you want to present your article, Pak Randi? If you can please unmute yourself first. Pak Randi, hello. If you have connection issues, please type it in the chat box. I can understand. Okay. Since Pak Randi is not responding, I think I can wrap up this breakout sessions for sessions A, and maybe after this we can go back to the main room, or I don't know about the agenda from the committee. But yeah, the presentation from session A is finished. There are a lot of inputs and comments, and most of them are good comments and good paper presentation from all of you. Congratulations. And please remember that this forum is not to give you a downside effect or give you a bad review about your articles, but to give you spirits to improve more on your analysis in your articles and understanding in writing articles for international journal or journals, and also to develop your skills in presenting in public forum. So I would like to say thank you everyone, and thank you for the committee for arranging this event. And yeah, I'll see you in another time. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oke, Assalamualaikum. The presenters can stay in our Zoom until we finish calculate the scores. So all of the participants, you can just take a rest, yeah, for 15 minutes. Then after 15 or 20 minutes, we will start the closing ceremony and also the announcement ceremony. So again, for our moderators, for our session chair, thank you very much for your contribution and your effort helping us to lead the discussion. Thank you very much. And all the participants, please stay in this Zoom. We will play also some videos about Bengkulu and also Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu until we waiting the committee calculate the scores. Okay.
Assalamualaikum guys, selamat datang di Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu.
yang sering disebut dengan Bumi Rafflesia, terletak di sebelah barat daya Pulau Sumatera. Bengkulu yang kaya akan budaya, adat istiadat, serta keanekaragaman lainnya menjadikannya unik, tak dapat dijumpai dimanapun. Berangkat dari keanekaragaman Bumi Rafflesia, kini Bengkulu juga tumbuh menjadi salah satu kota pendidikan yang sangat diperhitungkan. Salah satu pilar utama penyangga pendidikan tinggi utama di Bengkulu adalah Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu. Selamat datang di Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu. Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu merupakan universitas swasta terbesar nomor 1 di Bengkulu yang memiliki konsep pendidikan berbasis Islam dengan budaya akademik Islami sebagai strategi pendidikannya. Inilah konsep pendidikan yang menjadi jawaban atas kelemahan dunia pendidikan dewasa ini, yang hanya fokus pada transfer ilmu pengetahuan. Berangkat dari konsep pendidikan yang berbasis Islam dan diharapkan mampu menjawab tantangan zaman dengan mengkader generasi unggul yang bertakwa, kompeten, dan berdaya saing. Hingga saat ini, UMB telah memiliki berbagai capaian prestasi kelembagaan. Saat ini, Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu memiliki 8 fakultas, di antaranya Fakultas Pertanian, Fakultas Ekonomi, Fakultas Agama Islam, Fakultas Ilmu Sosial dan Politik, Fakultas Ilmu Kesehatan, Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan, Fakultas Hukum, dan terakhir Fakultas Teknik. Dan saat ini, UMB memiliki 4 kampus yang terdiri dari kampus 1 merupakan kampus induk, tepatnya di Jalan Bali, Kota Bengkulu. Kampus 2 di Jalan Salakraya Panorama. Kampus 3 terletak di Jalan Es Parman. Dan terakhir kampus 4 terletak di Jalan Adamali. Untuk mengoptimalkan proses pendidikan dan pembelajaran, UMB didukung oleh berbagai sarana dan prasarana fasilitas penunjang yang representatif. Di antaranya, perpustakaan, ruang belajar yang nyaman dilengkapi dengan AC dan LCD, lab komputer, lab komunikasi dan penyiaran dilengkapi dengan radio siaran swasta PT Radio Jazira 104,3 FM, asrama, medical center, aula, dan fasilitas pendukung lainnya. Selain itu, UMB juga memiliki fasilitas olahraga seperti lapangan futsal dan fasilitas perbankan. Menyadari akan arti penting proses pembelajaran, kurikulum dan metode pembelajaran pun terus dikembangkan. Terbukti dengan dukungan staf pengajar dan tenaga kependidikan profesional, UMB mampu menghasilkan lulusan yang bertakwa, kompeten, dan berdaya saing. Sampai saat ini, tercatat ribuan mahasiswa dari berbagai penjuru telah tercetak dan mampu bersaing di era global. Selain mendukung peningkatan kualitas akademik, Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu juga mendukung penuh aktivitas pembentukan karakter mahasiswa melalui berbagai unit kegiatan mahasiswa. Sebagai bagian dari masyarakat, Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu menyadari betul fungsinya tidak terbatas pada pengajaran semata, melainkan mencakup aspek sosial dan budaya. Berbagai kegiatan sosial, pemberdayaan masyarakat dan penelitian telah dilakukan untuk memberi manfaat nyata bagi seluruh masyarakat. Ingin kuliah sekaligus berkepribadian Islam, berkualitas, beriman, dan berakhlak mulia, memiliki kemampuan akademik, profesional, terampil dan inovatif, serta mampu mengembangkan dan menerapkan iptek. Ayo, tunggu apa lagi? Buruan gabung bersama kami di Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu.
Assalamualaikum guys, selamat datang di Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu. Yuk kita lihat ke dalam. Guys, ternyata di Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu itu dekat dengan wisata loh, pantai dan pegunungan. Nah, pesona bumi Rafflesia Kota Bengkulu memang nggak ada habisnya deh. Di tahun 2021, UMB mendapat peringkat kedua perguruan tinggi swasta terbaik se-Sumbangsel. Menurut L2 Dikti Wilayah 2 berdasarkan penilaian aspek akademik, kemahasiswaan, dan SDM. Setiap tahunnya, Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu menyediakan beasiswa senilai 10 miliar. Nah, sekarang aku lagi ada di UPT Pusat Bahasa Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu nih. Oh ya, di Bengkulu, Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu satu-satunya loh yang punya layanan tes TOEFL ITP. Yuk, kita masuk. Halo, sir.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What about you?
I'm fine.
Okay, good.
What do you teach now, sir?
For now, I'm teaching speaking subject.
Wow, okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome.
See you next time.
See you too.
Keren kan, guys? Nah, sekarang kita dengar yuk visi misi dari kampus Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu.
Visi Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu adalah menjadi perguruan tinggi terdepan dalam iptek dan peradaban kampus yang islami pada tahun 2028.
Misi Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu yang pertama adalah melaksanakan Catur Dharma Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu yang terdiri atas
pendidikan,
penelitian,
pengabdian masyarakat, serta al-Islam dan kemuhammadiyaan
yang kompetitif dan sustainable.
Yang kedua, menciptakan iklim akademis yang islami sebagai pelopor pembaruan, gerakan tasdid, amar ma'ruf, nahi munkar.
Yang ketiga adalah meningkatkan kualitas sivitas akademika Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu. Dan yang terakhir, meningkatkan kompetensi lulusan Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu melalui program-program akademik yang strategis dan komprehensif.
Guys, sekarang aku lagi mau ke perpustakaan nih. Yuk kita lihat perpustakaan UMB gimana. Oke guys, sekarang aku udah ada di depan perpustakaan nih. Yuk kita lihat ke dalam. Nah, sekarang aku lagi ada di Radio Jazira UMB nih. Di sini kalian bisa tahu tentang informasi-informasi UMB. Yuk kita lihat keseruan kawan-kawan kita yang lagi siaran. Yuk. Tuh, seru kan?
Yang usah terlalu Inggris ya, kita kan masih orang kita ya.
Oh ya, di kampus UMB ada 9 fakultas loh. Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis, Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan, Fakultas Pertanian dan Peternakan, Fakultas Agama Islam, Fakultas Teknik, Fakultas Ilmu Kesehatan, Fakultas Ilmu Sosial dan Ilmu Politik, Fakultas Hukum, dan program Pasca Sarjana Pendidikan Biologi. Keren kan guys? Nah, sekarang aku lagi ada di kampus 4 Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu nih. Di sini itu terdapat 2 gedung loh. Nah, yang pertama ini aku udah berdiri loh di depan gedung Ahmad Dahlan. Nah, kalau yang di sebelah sana itu namanya gedung Hasanuddin. Nih, sekarang aku lagi ada di depan lab Fakultas Hukum. Yuk kita lihat keseruan kawan-kawan di dalam. Kawan-kawan lagi ngadain simulasi sidang nih. Tuh, kalian bisa lihat kan? Nah, sekarang kita lagi ada di salah satu fasilitas di UMB nih, yaitu lab komputer. Nih. Oh iya, UMB juga punya 2 aula loh di setiap gedungnya. Dan UMB juga punya masjid yang cukup besar yang kira-kira mampu menampung sekitar 500 jamaah. Nah, sekarang kita udah ada di kampus 3 Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu nih, yang terletak di Jalan S. Parman. Di sini UMB punya medical center yang buka praktek dari Senin sampai Sabtu. Selain itu, UMB juga punya UMB TV loh yang menayangkan edukasi-edukasi tentang kuliah di seputar Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu yang diisi oleh mahasiswa-mahasiswi Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu. Yuk kita lihat studionya. Oke kawan-kawan, kita udah sampai nih di studio UMB TV. Nih lagi ada yang siaran nih, yuk kita lihat. Dan yang terakhir, ini nih fasilitas terbaru buat yang hobi berolahraga sembari nongki-nongki cantik. Tara, sportarium, asik kan? Mahasiswa dan mahasiswi UMB bisa tambah fit dan glowing nih jadinya. Syukur-syukur bisa mencetak prestasi di bidang olahraga nih untuk kampus kita tercinta.
School of Law of Universitas Muhammadiyah Bengkulu was established in 2008 and has grown into one of the top faculties. It is backed by professional lecturers, including 7 professors with doctorates, who concentrate on the advancements of law science in the context of modern society 5.0. At School of Law, academic advancements is predicated on striking a balance between intellectual, emotional, and spiritual intelligence via excellence in line with scientific and technological advancements. Islamic principles are the foundations for the law department existence, which aims to prepare the future generations of capable, prospective, and competitive people by keeping our focus on the important things and presenting ourselves as reliable and competent.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much for waiting for closing ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, as we draw the curtains of the insightful presentation sessions of our international conference on law, policy, and politics, I, as your moderator, feel privileged to extend my gratitude to all those who contribute to the intellectual richness of this gathering hosted by UMB School of Law. First and foremost, let us extend our heartiest congratulations to the individual whose remarkable efforts have distinguished them today. It is my great honor to announce the recipient of the Best Presenter Award and also Best Article Awards. For the first, the dedication, insight, and scholarly research presented were nothing short of exemplary. So, the best presenters, the first, we have two best presenter. Yeah, we have two best presenter and one best article. The first best presenters come to sorry, wait. The first best presenter come to Zerlina Hairarani with the best the article title is The Lampah Sekar Kenduri in the Community Contains Javanese Elements. Okay, so Zerlina Hairarani, the best presenter. Okay, gak ada di Zoom. Okay, so. Okay, the next best presenter, because we have two best presenter. Another best presenters come to Fajrin Hardinandar with the article title How Investment Contributes to Poverty Debt in Indonesia, an Interregional Input-Output and Sigma Beta Convergent Mixed Approach. Okay, so we have two best presenters. The first is Zerlina and the second one is Fajrin Hardinandar, two best presenter. And now, additionally, the scholarly discourse does not end here, as we recognize the contribution that extend beyond oral presentation. The Best Article Award is a testament to the depth of research and written articulation that complement this conference lofty ideals. And the best articles come to Mr. Arianto Nugroho with the article title Social Justice Transformation, Implication of the Job Creation Law on Worker Social Security in Surabaya. Congratulations, Mr. Arianto. The certificate will come to your email directly after the conference. Both already have set new standard of excellence, and it is our hope that their work will inspire future participants in this esteemed conference. We owe deep gratitude to Dr. Budi and Dr. Arif, whose expertise and astute guidance as the session chairs were instrumental in fostering a constructive dialogue through these sessions. Their perspective and adept chairing have undoubtedly enriched the outcome of our discussions. Furthermore, I'm pleased to inform you that the intellectual exchange witnessed here will not be confined to the walls of this venue. All the papers present will be swiftly published in our conference proceedings, allowing the knowledge share to benefit a wider audience and contribute to the global conversation on law, policy, and politics. So all the article will be published in our conference proceeding, which indexed by Google Scholar and Copernicus, and also some index journals database. So please be patient. Your article will be published on the next 1 month. So in February, you can see the article already indexed in Google Scholar and also Copernicus. As we conclude, I would once again like to thank each presenter, delegates, and attender for your valuable contribution and injecting discussion. The passion and enthusiasm you have shown for advancing understanding in our fields are the very essence that drive the success of this conference. Let us carry forward the insight and wisdom gained during the sessions to make a meaningful impact in our respective sphere of influence. Wishing you all pleasant evening ahead, and we look forward to reconvening for future endeavor that continue challenge and expand the scope of our knowledge. Thank you very much for everything, and see you in the second International Conference on Law, Policy and Politics 2020-25. Thank you very much and goodbye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.